Every statue you've ever seen in a museum, every classical Greek or Roman sculpture you picture in your head right now is lying to you. They weren't white. They were never meant to be white. And the person who convinced the entire world otherwise built one of the biggest lies in art history. And it's still fooling people today. Kicking things off by breaking the myth that fooled everyone, including museums themselves, for over 300 years. When you think ancient Greece or ancient Rome, this is the image in your head. Clean, pale, elegant white marble. It's in every textbook, every movie, every museum brochure. But that image is a mistake. A 300-year-old mistake. Here's the truth. Ancient Greek and Roman statues were originally painted in bright, vivid color. Reds, blues, yellows, gold. Sometimes even patterned clothing and painted eyes. This isn't a theory, it's proven. Archaeologists and art historians, most famously a researcher named Vincent Brinkman, used ultraviolet light and raking light analysis to detect microscopic traces of pigment still clinging to blank white statues. Paint that's invisible to the naked eye, but still there under the surface. Brinkman's team even built exact painted reconstructions of famous statues, using the actual pigment traces they found, and toured them around the world in an exhibition called Gods in Color. People were stunned. Some thought the reconstructions looked wrong, even garish. So if the color was real, why does every statue we've dug up look white? Two reasons, and the second one is the one nobody tells you. Reason 1. Time. Paint doesn't survive 2,000 years buried in dirt. By the time these statues were dug up starting in the Renaissance, most of the color was already gone. Reason 2. Some of them did still have paint, and people scraped it off on purpose. That's not an exaggeration. Renaissance excavators believed blank white marble was the pure, sophisticated version of classical art. So when they found paint, they treated it like dirt to be removed, not history to be preserved. Johann Winkelmann, an 18th century art historian, and arguably the single most influential person in how the West thinks about classical beauty. He looked at these paint-stripped statues and declared that this, blank, unpainted marble, was the purest expression of Greek genius. Noble simplicity, he called it. He had no idea he was looking at damaged, faded artifacts. He thought he was looking at the finished product. And because his writings were so influential, that mistake didn't stay his. It became everyone's. For the next 200 years, sculptors, painters, and museums built the entire Western idea of classical beauty around one man's misreading of a paint job gone missing. Architects and governments spent the next 2 centuries designing courthouses, capitals, and monuments specifically to evoke that clean, white, classical look, including buildings you'd recognize right now, like the White House and the US Capitol. In other words, an entire vision. So next time you walk through a museum and see a classical white statue, remember, you're not looking at the original. You're looking at what's left after the paint disappeared, and after a few centuries of people preferring it that way. The real ancient world was in full color the whole time. If this one surprised you, subscribe, because we're doing a full series on historical myths just like this one, and you don't want to miss the next one. And if you liked it, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this video get shown to more people, and it's the easiest way to support the channel without spending a cent. Thank you for watching Storyflips. I'll see you in the next one.